Hello, I'm Dr. Martin Orimenko at Live Well Holistic Health Center in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. Check out our website at www.livewellholistichealth.com. Today's topic is colds and flus. It's that time of year again, and I'm going to tell you about prevention and remedies that really do work. First thing you should know about colds and flus is that they are viral. They're not bacterial. They're viral. So antibiotics, which kill bacteria, do not work for colds and flus. Yes, even when you have that green and yellow mucus, antibiotics are not called for. That does not mean you have bacterial infection if you have that colored mucus. So forget about antibiotics for colds and flus. First and foremost, we need to talk about prevention. The best thing you can do for prevention of colds and flus is to eat a very, very healthy, robust diet based on fruits and vegetables. The second most important thing would be beans, nuts, and seeds. Nuts and seeds raw, always. And then very moderate on eggs and fish and chicken and things like that. And then very moderate on dairy like cheese and yogurt, and little or no sugar, chocolate, alcohol, breads, pastries, and even grain products in general. Yes, even your beloved oatmeal and brown rice, just very moderate on those. And next to no sugar, chocolate, alcohol. I know it's a tough one to hear, but and we all make choices every day, and we're going into the season where people have parties and whatnot, so just be careful with those is all I'm saying. So you don't want to create a mucousy, acidic system that's very vulnerable to those viruses, okay? Your GI tract does not want to get clogged and acidic and mucousy. That's inviting infection. 75% of your immune system is in your intestinal tract. If that gets clogged, acidic and mucousy, you're inviting those infections in. Another very good thing to do, speaking of the gut, is to take probiotics. Make sure you have good gut flora in there. I often recommend doing periodic yeast or candida cleanses, which is simply doing a week or maybe two, restricting sugar, bread, dairy, and fermented foods, and taking an anti-yeast pill, anti-candida pill. I have the best ones here in the clinic, but you can pick up some from a health food store as well. And then vitamin D, very important. People who hang out in the sun a lot, have a good supply of vitamin D in their systems. They seem to be sick less, but certainly you can take a vitamin D supplement. It's more like a hormone. It acts more like a hormone than a vitamin, and it really keeps your immune system robust. So those are some tips there. Now, as far as lifestyle goes, you want to be very careful with partying, very careful with traveling, very careful with your sleep, making sure you get adequate sleep, and be very careful with stress. We can only do so much for these four things. We have to go to parties, we have to travel, we do get sleep, we do get sleep interruptions or less than adequate sleep sometimes, and stress is kind of a natural part of life, but as much as possible, try and be careful around those four things. If you go to a party, make sure you drink, maybe mix it up, have some club soda with lemon instead of all alcohol. And also, as far as parties go, it's very easy to overextend yourself. Talking in a very excited way for 2-3 hours can drain your energy. So just be aware of that. Am I overspending my energy, getting overexcited and talking, overly talking and draining yourself? So just be careful around that. Keep balance, keep poised. When you travel, do some preventive measures there as much as possible, and try and get the sleep in as much as you can. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Washing your hands, very important during cold and flu season. When you shake hands with people and then you touch around your face, that's an easy way to get that viral infection passed on to you. So wash your hands with just plain soap and water fairly often, as often as you can manage. And we use hand sanitizers, but not Purell and not those chemically based hand sanitizers. Those are toxic. They're very bad chemicals. We don't recommend them. We use natural ones here in the office. Here's an example of one. It's called Clean Well. It's based on thyme oil. It's a natural herb. It's an oil from a plant that is antimicrobial. Keeps the hands nice and clean. I use it between patients here, especially during cold and flu season. Another preventive measure you can do is to wear a scarf during the cold season. When it's cold and dry and especially windy, cold and windy outside, a scarf is very protective. They say in Chinese medicine, Oriental medicine, they say that this is our most vulnerable area, and this is an area where the colds and flus enter our body. But it certainly can make us weakened if we have that cold wind blowing on our necks. So a nice scarf around the neck is a great thing to do. I do it all winter long. I have a nice scarf collection. And also another trick from Ayurvedic medicine from ancient India is to keep the ears and nostrils lubricated. How do you do that? You take your pinkies and you dip them in ghee, which is clarified butter, or regular butter, or coconut oil, or sesame oil, or olive oil, or flax oil. Just get some oil around your pinkies and go inside your nostrils, around like that, and then sniff in, and then inside your ears. That's like a very protective barrier against that cold wind. It's especially good to do when traveling or when you're out exposed to cold, dry wind. Now let's talk about remedies. A lot of people take extra supplies of vitamin C and garlic and echinacea golden seal. Those are moderately helpful. The garlic and onions are actually more helpful with your regular diet, regular preventive diet. Once you do have a cold or flu, the best thing you can do is to stop eating. I know that's a shock to people. Or just eat very, very light. Calorie restriction has been proven to get people through colds and flus much, much faster. Much faster. So a moderate or a variation on fasting would be to just have fruits and vegetables. Just eat salads and soups, for instance, and maybe a little bit of fruit. But in any case, really reduce your calorie intake if you have a cold or flu. Zinc would be one of the top supplements you can take, proven scientifically to get people through the cold and flu faster. And also elderberry is one of the best things you can take. The homeopathic oscillococcinum is fairly helpful, and a number of things are fairly helpful. We use herbal formulas here for cold and flu that are they're different herbs than you're used to hearing about. These are very, very good antibiotic herbs, mostly Chinese formulas that include herbs like isatis, which is the #1 antibiotic herb used in China. They put it in all their antibiotic formulas, as well as ligusticum, andrographis, xanthium. So these are the formulas we have here in the clinic, and they work very well. Lastly, I'll mention getting holistic chiropractic treatments are very good preventive-wise as well as curative-wise. I just had someone here today getting a treatment for their cold. And we do general spinal adjusting, very gentle, stimulate the body's immune system, and do some acupuncture points and a few holistic therapies that can really speed things up. We encourage people to come in for treatments when they have a cold or flu. I treat people with cold or flu, and I rarely get a cold or flu. And it's not because I'm special in terms of my genetics. I just take all these measures, and I practice what I preach, and I hardly ever get sick, even though I have patients that come in with colds and flus, and even though I have kids that are in daycare and elementary school, and they come home with colds. I rarely get sick, so I'm a walking example. So this is Dr. Martin Orimenko again from Live Well Holistic Healthcare Health Center in Ardmore, Pennsylvania, telling you how to prevent colds and flus and how to cure them. And we'll be happy to see you here in the clinic for a treatment sometime.